Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with the Tristana Supplementary guide, and I'm actually not sure why I did that, click into the Tristana from the main screen, this one, because that's what I normally do for the updated complete guides, but for some reason I just did that on this video, but, regardless, it doesn't really matter. That's not important. Let's jump into the actual build, runes, and spells. So now, you guys know that there's a couple of variations in Tristana's build, and we've covered quite a number of them. The first one is this, what I like to call Energized build with lethal tempo, then which we covered in our previous Tristana Supplementary guide. Then we also have the Conquer version of the Energized build. And then the last build we have is lethal tempo with Bloodthirster. Right here, which is the one we covered in the previous supplementary video. The Conqueror build is the one we covered in the previous updated complete guide. And now we're going to cover another variation. This time is the Energized build with lethal tempo. So now I wanted to make sure that I tested all three of these builds so I know which one is best. And now that I've tested all these three videos, now I do now know which is best. And what I think is best is actually the Energized build with the Conqueror. That's just letting you guys know right off the bat. But for this video, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Energized build with the lethal tempo. Now, where did this build come from? Obviously, we were testing out the lethal tempo. Then we did the Bloodthirster in the third slot. And while I did think that that was really good for the lifesteal, and it was also really good for the damage, but the attack speed was a little bit low even with the lethal tempo, because sometimes you can't fully stack the lethal tempo. So I tried out the rapid fire cannon build, and I think that among the two I actually do prefer the Bloodthirster build. So the build I'm covering today basically is like the third best build for Tristana technically, but yet again it's still a viable build, and I think most people actually prefer rapid fire cannon over Bloodthirster. I'm just one of those that do prefer the Bloodthirster. But anyways, let's just get straight in and talk about the build. So first up, obviously Stormrazor, attack speed, crit, as well as the attack damage. Also, of course, for the Energized passive with that slow. Then the 2-item power spike slash combo with the IE, more crit, more AD, and more crit damage. Pretty much the classic 2-item ADC combo at this point. Then you generally go into your Gluttonous Greaves, and normally you go for Stasis. Like, the only other enchant you can go for is pretty much the QSS, the Quicksilver enchant. Going Proto Belt normally you don't normally go Proto Belt on Tristana, because firstly you already have your jump, and secondly you kind of need that stasis for when you jump in most of the time. And then of course next up we go for rapid fire cannon, more attack speed, more crit, and of course you get the increased attack range. Also, of course, you also get the Energized passive, which does of course stack up with the Stormrazor, so more damage in that aspect. And then we get the more reminder, attack damage, armor penetration, and of course the grievous wounds. And lastly, the GA for the revive. Now when your GA is down, obviously Bloodthirster probably is going to be your best bet in terms of what to replace it with. And also, if the situation calls for it, which is getting increasingly common in the current meta, you might want to build Stormrazor before your third crit item, because sometimes you're into a very tanky team or a team with a lot of heals, so sometimes that might be the best idea. So next up, runes, we have the lethal tempo. Of course, that gives you attack speed every stack, and when it max stacks, you gain a burst of attack speed, that being 30. Then you go for Hunter Vampirism, your only other source of lifesteal aside from the the Gluttonous Greaves slash Gluttonous Stasis. Then I like to actually go for Nullifying Orb on Tristana, because Tristana has a really strong level 2 and level 3 all in, so the Nullifying Orb can really help you in terms of saving you and to not die, or just tank that little bit of damage. And I found that this actually saved me on more than one occasion, so Nullifying Orb for Tristana I think is the way to go. Lastly, Hunter Genius for the CDR, because you do want more cooldowns, because you're very reliant on all your cooldowns, your jump, your bomb, especially your main point of damage, and of course the attack speed boost on your Q. So you do want to have that Hunter Genius. And lastly, you got the Flash and you got the Exhaust, the usual ADC spells. Don't think I gotta really explain it too much at this point, but with all that out of the way, we can actually jump into the gameplay itself. Alrighty, so here we have the gameplay itself. Now, I wouldn't say there is any kind of particular matchup that you want to be picking Tristana into or with, unlike a lot of other champions like Ezreal and Zaya. You want to pick it into matchups that like have a lot of assassins want to go into you, that kind of thing. And Varus, you want to be picking it when there aren't like assassins or tanks going into you, that kind of thing, and you have a solid front line. But for Tristana, I really think she kind of does okay into and with every comp. So I think Tristana in that sense is really flexible in that way. Of course, generally it is better to pick Tristana into a very squishy comp, because what you want to do is you jump in, you put your bomb, you reset, and you start attacking like everybody else. So if you have a very squishy comp, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get those resets. Now in this case, in this match, Veigar, Caitlyn, Soraka, all pretty squishy. Tryndamere has his ult, so not very easy to burst. Irelia not the easiest to burst as well, but they're not like full on tanks. I clear out the control ward in the tri-bush, and I get exhausted by Soraka for some reason. So Soraka does have the exhaust and has wasted it. I try to jump in level 2 onto the Caitlyn, and I force the flash. As you can see, nullifying orb coming in right there. Really helpful rune. Tryndamere, you can see, has overstepped by 1 step, so we do know that he's in the area. So there really is no point of us going any further. We have already forced Caitlyn's flash and heal. We forced Soraka's exhaust, so really only Soraka has flash at this point, and me and Janna still have both sums. So it's really likely that we are going to be able to force and engage and get a kill in the lane at this point, just based on this current situation. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do. But for now, Tryndamere, you can see he's doing the top scuttle, so we don't exactly want to be forcing an engage at this current point in time. And plus we have a huge wave, so we're going to take a lot of minion aggro, and we want to get that farm as well. So when we have the next available opportunity, we want to of course be forcing that engage. So here I'm just going to try to clear the wave. But as you guys know, CSing under tower, sometimes if the health doesn't line up, you are never going to be able to get that CS, something like that. And here I see Janet catching out Caitlyn. I flash over the trap, kind of flashing into Soraka's E as well, but doesn't matter. I put the bomb on the Caitlyn, blast her into next week, jump on her. I get the reset, allows me to jump and follow the Soraka, but Veigar really fast on the rotation. I exhaust the Veigar to try to survive. Ahri, by the way, still in mid lane. If you take a look at the minimap, Ahri still in mid lane, Ahri not rotating. Janna and Jax going for the kill onto the Soraka, and they do get it. Ahri shows up after the fight is basically over to literally do nothing. So sometimes in solo queue, that's how it goes. The enemy mid rotates your mid, apparently doesn't even realize the fight is happening, staying under tower even though there's really nothing to do there. But yeah, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. So instead we get basically a trade. We kill the Caitlyn and we do get killed by the Veigar. So overall, it's still alright. Kind of alright, I guess you can say it. Now we've used our sums as well. They still don't have any sums. The only sum left is going to be Janna's flash. But overall, bot lane is really vulnerable now to jungle ganks and such. So Soraka kind of just AFK on the tower. We're just going to go back to CSing here. We don't really have a lot of pressure to really just jump all in anymore, because we are even in terms of the footing, in terms of sums. So not quite the best idea to do that. However, Caitlyn gets caught out of position, so I am going to put the bomb on her and try to blast her. However, the heal from the Soraka comes in, so no burst for me because Soraka's heal is pretty sizable. I block Caitlyn's ultimate for Janna. And yeah, so pretty high amounts of action in the early game is normally what happens with a Tristana lane. You generally are jumping in and trying to kill people quite a lot, unless of course you're in a very bad losing matchup. You don't want to be jumping into a Draven Leona or something like that. But aside from that, generally a lot of matchups you can actually jump in. And this matchup actually we lose if we don't really all in, because we're just gonna get outranged and poked by the Caitlyn. And Soraka is also a better matchup against Janna. So basically, if we don't all in, then we kind of just lose the lane and just get choked out, which is not what we want. Now Tryndamere is back in the top lane, and he's trying to just stay around the area to pressure us, so we can't really step up to go in or really even take CS, because we don't really actually know where he is, except that he's somewhere topside. So if we do anything too reckless, we're gonna get ganked. So that's not the way to go. Now I highlight this in a couple of my Tristana videos, but I still think Tristana is actually a really underrated ADC in terms of how hard she is to play. Like, not in terms of her power level, but in terms of how hard she is to play. Now, it really isn't very easy to put your bomb on the correct person and auto attack the correct person, aka the person who has the bomb, because you have to manually target both the bomb and the auto attack. And sometimes in the chaos of a team fight, it's going to be really difficult to put the bomb on the correct person and also to attack the correct person. So Tristana is really hard to play because of that. Something like Vayne, like with Vayne, you gotta auto attack the same person consistently, something like that. Here I see a fight happening. I'm gonna hop over the wall and get the kill on the Tryndamere. I believe he didn't actually even manage to pop his ult, so he kind of got bursted way too fast. Tristana, as we all know, something like Jhin is a really powerful burst champion. Just popping that bomb is gonna do a huge burst of damage. He didn't even have time to react and press his ult. I realize going in 1v4. I'm gonna ignore that. I want to jump the Caitlyn in the backline. I realize does die to my team though, and Caitlyn has to kind of run away. So here, Soraka stuck in the pit, nowhere she can really go. But Tryndamere comes in and steals the dragon because our Jax was a little bit late. Here I'm hopping over the wall, trying to get the Caitlyn. Caitlyn ease over the wall right as Jax leaps to her. So she does manage to actually escape. Now we have all 5 people in the top lane. So with this sort of scenario, the best thing that we can do is to just force down this first tower 5-man strong. Obviously, it's going to be really easy for 5 people to take 1 tower, and the enemy team can't do too much to defend because they aren't quite in position to do that yet. So we get a very easy and free first tower, and we're just going to back. So 2-1 and 2, not too bad. Although if I did get those couple of kills in the dragon fight and we're like 4 and 1, sorry, or something, we would pretty much just be really fed. Like Tristana, if she gets fed in the early game, like I'm talking about, let's say you get a triple kill or like 3 kills like before like 5 minutes, basically at that point you can't say the game is over, but at that point like you snowball really hard. She's one of those champions that snowballs really hard. I feel that, for example, if you get 3 kills on a Vayne early, or 3 kills on a Kai'Sa early, 3 kills on a Caitlyn early, I feel that you do, of course you do snowball because you just got 3 kills, but I feel that the snowball isn't as hard as Tristana. I feel like Tristana really snowballs very hard. Like it's gonna be so much easier to get a lot of kills after that. And also Tristana just got buffed in the latest patch, that being 3.2b. So her attack speed, not attack speed, her attack damage growth going up from like 3.6 something I think to like 4.55. So basically almost 1 attack speed growth. So that's gonna give her about 14 extra attack damage. Sorry, not attack speed. Gonna give her about 14 extra attack damage. Hey, you know, it's always helpful having more attack damage at higher levels, so why not? Not the biggest change in the world, but still, of course, a good buff for Tristana. So here we are sort of getting poked out by Caitlyn and Veigar. So this is kind of what I was talking about. So basically, if we were in this kind of scenario in the lane and we didn't all in, we would just be getting auto attacked down by the Caitlyn the whole time. So anyways, here we spawn an opportunity to go in on Veigar. That's exactly what we do. Hook comes in from the Darius onto the Caitlyn and she's gone. Here I try to jump onto the Soraka, but being the fool that I am, I jump straight onto Caitlyn's trap. So because of that, Soraka does manage to escape. So got a little bit tunnel vision on that Soraka far away and didn't see the trap right in front of me. So that was kind of a oops kind of moment there. But yeah, we do miss out on that kill on Soraka. Alright. So now nothing too much is happening, so we're just gonna back and get ourselves some items, like so. And yeah, so you can see Darius a little bit pushed up. Looks like a fight is kind of about to happen in mid, but at the same time hasn't really fully broken out. Like you can see everybody just around that area. Looks like a fight is about to happen, and Darius is getting a bit chunked from the enemy team. So one thing about this team comp is that our team is pretty all in, like pretty committal. Like I have to go all in. Darius and Jax as well. Ahri is the only one who can really fish for a pick with her charm. But the enemy team, like they have Veigar and Caitlyn, like they can shoot from afar and kind of poke us out. So if we are ever in a scenario, let's say we're 5v5 at a dragon pit or something and nobody really commits or engages to all in, our team is going to lose because we're just going to get poked out by Veigar and we're going to get poked out by Caitlyn, so that's not really the scenario that we want. So here I was trying to collapse onto the Irelia with the Jax, but Jax didn't quite commit. Like if Jax went in there with his Counter-Strike and stunned her, I could have like jumped in and possibly we could have gotten a kill. But he doesn't really choose to come in. He's just defending the tower, which is fine as well. So here Rift Herald has spawned. Tryndamere and Veigar spotted pushing top. So Tryndamere at the wrong side of the map at this particular point in time. So this basically means it should be a free Rift Herald for us. Although on the flip side, they did trade a tower for Rift Herald. So that's basically the same thing, because Rift Herald normally gets you 1 tower anyways. It normally doesn't get you like 2 or anything, so generally that's pretty much an even trade in terms of the enemy team. Here Jax puts down the Herald in mid, and basically that gives us the mid tower here. I know the mid tower is going to be taken by the Herald, so I'm just going to clear out the control ward. Don't waste too much time. Herald gets taken down by the enemy team, so overall it's an even trade across the map. They take top tower, we take Herald, which gives us tier 1 mid. So overall, it's kind of a net neutral kind of situation there. Here, I try to ward over the wall, but I accidentally ward into the Dragon Pit instead. So, kind of second big mistake of this match already. But yeah, so here, Darius is getting collapsed upon by the enemy team, but we're here to backing him up. I realize that she's in a 1v5, so she dies. And we're just going to clear this control ward, and we should be able to go for this Dragon. And so here we can see Tryndamere inside that bush. So here I'm just trying to chunk out the Tryndamere. I even jumped straight on his head. Here I'm trying to chunk him out. He pops the ult, so I'm going to just jump away, because obviously I can't kill him when he's in the ult. And here we're still trying to kill him. We finally do get the kill onto him. Here Veigar one-shots the Ahri instantly, and nearly one-shots me and Janna as well. So I hop out, flash out, get myself the fruit, and I'm out of there. We do secure the dragon. Jax, does secure the dragon in the meanwhile. So we do get the dragon, and we do get the kill on the Tryndamere. Overall, a 1-for-1 trade, but we do win out on that one because we did get ourselves the Cloud Dragon, which is of course my favorite dragon in the game, which is going to be removed soon when Elemental Rift comes around. So really tragic. But yeah, so here we have the 2 Iron Power Spike of the IE as well as the Storm Razor. Now I'm just going to clear the Krugs, which you can do really fast. Something about Tristana is she does actually clear the jungle really fast when you put a bomb onto like the big raptor and explode it onto all the small ones. Same goes for something like the Krugs or the Wolves. So Tristana is a relatively fast jungler, although of course Tristana jungle I think could work, but I think her first clear is going to be way too slow. But yeah, I think it is something that could work. So anyways, here I'm just going to clear out the mid lane. We can see Veigar over there. Basically trying to set a trap for us. Janna pops the ult for some reason, and here we're just going to try to catch up the Caitlyn. We got a free auto in on her. Veigar gets hooked and charmed, so Veigar just dies, gets himself caught out. And same goes to the Tryndamere. I'm just going to blast him a couple of times. I run into a Caitlyn trap, so I'm sort of a little bit out of the fight. Darius tries to go in. I try to get my bomb in onto the Irelia. I get the reset off that kill that Darius got. I get myself another reset. I'm gonna jump over onto the Irelia, which gives me another reset. So that's sort of the playstyle you go with Tristana. Here I'm hopping in for to get the Caitlyn. Darius is tanking the tower, so here I am able to actually get the Caitlyn herself. So double for Darius, double for me, and kind of really snowballing this game out of control at this point. And here we can go for the inhibitor using the bomb. Tristana takes towers really, really fast. Veigar ults me, and I somehow survive. Yeah, I somehow survive. That's all I can really say. I live on 1 HP. The nullifying orb procced, and Janna shielded me, so I didn't actually end up dying eventually. But I do end up living on 1 HP. We do actually secure that top lane inhibitor, which is of course the best news of the entire sequence of events there. And I'm gonna just recall, I have enough to get myself a full-on rapid fire cannon. So I got my triple energized item already. Got the Gluttonous Greaves as well. So next time I'm aiming to get myself the Stasis. I'm aiming to get myself the Executioner's Calling. Of course, with a Soraka in the game, it is going to be really, really useful. Arguably, I should have gotten it way earlier in the game, but I haven't. Soraka, this particular Soraka honestly isn't really being that useful, but still should be probably getting that. So here I'm just clearing out the red side jungle. As I said, ADCs, get farm wherever you can. So here, recall, get myself not the Stasis this time, but I do get myself the QSS. Now the reason I get QSS is because there's so many things that can be QSS. I can QSS Veigar's Cage, which is really the main thing I'm really getting the QSS for. I can QSS Caitlyn's Traps, and I can QSS Irelia's Flawless Duet as well. Technically, there's a lot of other things I can QSS, like Tryndamere Slow, or like Soraka Silence. You can QSS and run out of the silence, but really, it's mainly for the Veigar, honestly. And Caitlyn, if I get hit by Caitlyn Trap or Flawless Duet from Irelia, it also will come in handy. So here we are really strong, really ahead. We're almost tanking goal hit. So in this case, we can sort of force the Baron, which is why I'm kind of pinging to do the Baron. Jax gets the message. He comes on over. So I realize that Jax is starting up the Baron. I'm going to hit over to help him out because obviously I'm the ADC. So I'm the main DPS that can take down the Baron. So here I'm just going to be doing the Baron. The rest of my team sort of just zoning the enemies away for now. But now that they see what's going on, they are also headed over to the area to help us get the Baron. No contest from the enemy team, so we pretty much get a free Baron. And yeah, so here we're just going to use that Baron to push. Now we already got the top lane inhibitor, so we gotta focus a little bit more on mid and bot. We can see that there are two people top, Caitlyn and someone else top, who is kind of pushing out that top wave. We see Tristana in the mid lane, with Jax there pushing in the mid as well. Irelia and Soraka at this point in time are the only two defending this inhibitor. So basically that means we get a free inhibitor. And yeah, so here, really strong. Darius did get hit by Veigar's ultimate, so he is going to be put into the GA. And yeah, so we already got the bot lane inhibitor, no reason to over push bot. So we're gonna instead go over to mid, where Jax has actually managed to escort the Baron minions into the tower. So here I'm gonna use my bomb to just really force the tower like that. And here by this point in time we have all 3 inhibs. So you guys know normally when you get 3 inhibs, generally the game is pretty much won. Like, it's so difficult to really win a game when you don't have any inhibs because there's going to be so much pressure put by the minions. Irelia tries to go all in on me, and I do manage to survive on the silver HP again. I'm lifestealing off of the dragon as well as the skull crab, so I'm back to like roughly around half health. Irelia pays for her sins with her life, and here I'm trying to jump in on the Tristana. I jump straight into the Veigar cage, unfortunately, and I do actually die. So that's a little bit unfortunate there, but hey, Tristana gets a triple, Tristana dies, and basically it's only Ahri and Veigar left. So at this point the game is basically won. Now if you look at the wave states, all the waves are pretty much pushing into the enemy's base at this point in time. Ahri is Baron buff, so you know that all she really has to do is stand around and Baron buff the waves. Veigar cannot be clearing that many minions at one go. As you guys can see, before she even reached the minions, already took the base down to like about 2k health. So Ahri, as I say, just gonna have to just walk in and finish off the base. So yeah, there we go. Tristana with the lethal tempo and with that energized build works as well. So I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.